Hey guys, it's Will down at Magic the Friendly Tavern on Facebook. And you all know my blue red Delver deck, or if you don't, well, this is it. And as you can see, it's kind of got a lot of top end in it, to believe it or not. And this is kind of cute, but we have two light up the night for this one copy of, or this one copy of Jace for these two light up the nights. And this deck actually kind of runs a bunch of lands to be able to get these 5 drops out. And this is a solid deck. It works really well. It still can't beat mono white life gain, but I've actually went and updated this deck and have a new list for you. So let's go look at that. And what we've done is we've wait for it to load. We have definitely trimmed down the top end, and we have also been able to get rid of some more lands. And we have completely redid the MDFCs. Instead of running the Seagate Restoration, which comes in handy once or twice in a game, we are now running more of the Spikefield hazards, which do come in play a lot more often. And now we are also running Jurari Disruption, which is also really good in the early game. The Delver deck was kind of missing a counter spell for those times when we have, we can leave everything up and draw at the end of their turn and stuff. We want counter spells for the leave up during that time too. Really cheap and efficient ones, and we don't really have any great ones as standard, but this one's fine. This one gets us where we want to go, and it's a tempo play too. If they tap out and we basically counter what they played, we time walked them. So that's more tempo in our hat. And this being a tempo deck is what we want to be doing. We left in Valakut's Awakening. It's 3 mana, and it gives us the same utility as Seagate Restoration, just not the untapped land. But that's fine. We also added in this draw spell right here. So this is basically divination. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw 2 cards, and usually because we're not card advantage, we're actually just rip through our deck looking for what we want. We're more card manipulation than card draw. So most of the time, this will be divination for 2 cards. Now, if they have at least 4 or more cards in hand than you, we get to draw 3 cards instead. And 3 mana for 3 cards is really good. And yes, it's a lesson, but we're not running any learn. We just have this in the main deck, which you can do. This is fine. This card is fine. Divination with upside. I've actually yet to cast this card and not realize that an opponent has to have 2 or more, have more cards in hand. I've always drawn the 2 cards. One day this card will get me, and probably on camera too, not realizing that first line of text there. But always read your cards. We're still running the Flame Skull. We cut down a little bit on the Spectral Adversary, and that's because we wanted 4 copies of the Bloodthirsty Adversary. And the reason is because this is a 2 mana 2/2 haste. Now, I can't think of a more tempo-y play than that. Just keep everything off the board and keep swinging in with a 2/2 as soon as it comes out. That's great. Heck yeah, we want to drop this. We turn 1 Delver, flip it turn 2, then drop this, and that's 5 damage starting turn 2. That's really good and efficient. Plus, if we have to go late game with this can get us a spell back from our graveyard and get larger and be a larger threat. So this kind of replaces our dragon. This is a really, really good card. This thing is really, really good. Out of all the adversaries, I think this is the best one, followed by the blue one, followed by the black one, followed by the green. The green and black are kind of the same, on the same level to me, but I think the black one's just slightly better, followed by the green one, then the white one. Even though the white one's not bad, don't get me wrong, the white one's not bad. I think that's the order in which I like them. We went down to 1 stowaway because I never like having multiple stowaways out anyways. So we're fine on that. This guy's pretty good. We kept him in here as a good, reasonable creature that can basically deal damage unblocked forever and draws cards and make us discard sometimes, but we really like to draw cards with it. We have our iterations in here to draw. We just up the number of them. So this card lets us look at the top 3. We put one of them in our hand, one of them in our library, and exile one of them, and we can play the exiled card. So it's great. I'm still getting used to playing this card. I still sometimes make mistakes on what I should exile and what I should put in my hand. But this spell's pretty good. Next up is we have one Dragon's Fire. Since we're not running dragons, we cut the number of Dragon's Fire. We're just running one right now. And that's because we're running 4 of the Frostbites. And we're running one Cathartic Pyre. We cut down on those to make way for 4 Play with Fire. And the reason we're running the Play with Fire and the Frostbites is Frostbite's 1 for 3 damage to a creature or planeswalker. And it's almost always turned on because we almost always have 3 Snowlands. This is great. 3 damage for that is great. It's really efficient, and that's what we're really looking for is efficiency right now. And the reason we're running the Play with Fire is because we need the extra reach burn to the face. You need to be able to hit them in the face with some burn and to bring that clock down just in case they just outmatch us on the board and we cannot get our creatures through. We need something that can go to the face. And this goes to the face very, very well. And this is very cheap and it's very easy to play, and it also gives us a scry. It's all right. It's no lightning bolt, but as a shock, it's good. Then we have our Accumulation of Studies. This is a new card we put in. It's a sorcery. It's an X spell replacing our Light Up the Nights, which this could easily be a Light Up the Night. But you exile the top X cards of your library. For each land exiled this way, create a treasure token. For each blue card exiled this way, draw a card. For each red card exiled this way, Accumulation of Studies deals 1 damage to each opponent. So far, I've had this do quite a random number of things. I've had it be really good one game where it exiled 4 out of 6 red cards, the other 2 being blue. So I drew 2 cards that dealt 4 damage. It was great. Then I've had it where I drew 3 lands and 1 blue spell. So I drew 1 card and made 3 treasures. And that wasn't great because I was really hoping to dig. So it's kind of hit or miss, but I like it in there right now, even though it might change here soon. It's decent. It's a decent card. If we can get it up 6 mana to cast it, so we can at least have X equals 4. Not the worst thing in the world. I mean, but if we're severely flooded out, this card will help us if we are completely flooded out, get back in the game real easy. That's one of the reasons I like it. If we're behind, this card is good, even though it does take a lot of mana to cast. So this is on the chopping block, but it is something I am experimenting with. Then, of course, we have our otherworldly gazes, and we cut those down because they don't draw us a card. They're card neutral, they're not as great as they could be. If they would have put 1 card in our hand, then this card would be broken. Then we have our Delver of Secrets, of course. 4 Delvers in the Delver deck, always. Then we have 3 more Consider. We wanted to up our Considers to have more draw power and manipulate the top of our deck to flip our Delvers better. And then lastly, but not least, we have the Alchemist Retrieval. Now, we usually do use the Hope card, the Spirit of Hope, or whatever it is. It's 1 mana blue, bounce a target creature to its owner's hand. If it's your creature, you get the Scry 1, and that's great. That card could replace this card really easily, but this returns a non-land permanent. You control for 1 blue. So when in the instance we want to use it on our creature to save it, it only costs 1 blue, and great. But for 2 mana, we can bounce a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, even if we don't control it. So this is great in instances where we need to get something off the field of our opponents, like a blocker, an attacker, or even if they've put a couple of counters on a Druid's class or a Cleric's class, and we need it off the board to make their combat situation a lot worse that turn, and to save us some damage. That's where this comes in handy with the non-land permanent targeting. It allows us to get in there and hit things that we normally wouldn't be able to hit with the Hope card. I'll show you what I'm talking about in the Hope card. I'm sorry. This is it. Fading Hope. That's the card I keep referring to as Fading Hope. These could easily become Fading Hope. Again, we will see as this deck evolves and progresses over through the format. But that's it. This is Delver. This is Blue-Red Delver Mach 2. This is Izzet Delver Mach 2. And that's pretty much it. That's where we're going. It's more low to the ground, meaner and leaner. It doesn't have as much high end or as much end game. So we finish games quickly, But if we get shut down, we get shut down a little harder. We actually do give mono white life gain a better fight in this configuration versus our other configuration, but not that much of one. They still beat us every time almost. Well, that's been it. My name's Will from down here at Magic, the Friendly Tavern on Facebook. Happy pack pulls, and as always, happy games.